have you been? We've been cracking this on for months now. And he says, spread the word. Just found you and very excited. Thrilled. Thank you very much. Enjoy the show. And Tim Leonard says, welcome back. Chris did a good job. Yes, he did. He's a good lad. And a star of the future, no question. We talked about bad cats and stuff. What are we going to talk about live on air? Well, frankly, it's down to you. And we have Caitlin, who I think is on about pets. She's in Ashington. Hi, Caitlin.
Hi, yeah, I'm on about pets.
Oh, do tell. What's up?
Right, the ones I've had growing up have been fine, well behaved, no problem.
What have they been? Cats, dogs, guinea pigs? What you had?
Cats, dogs, hamsters, budgies. I've had goldfish as well.
Right.
But my mum, when she was younger, she had a cat that hated bald people.
Right.
And my nana had a friend who used to go around, and there was one time my mum said the cat was sitting there nice and peaceful, and my mum went, it hasn't gone for anyone for a while, and I think she said that it all of a sudden it attacked.
Right. Oh, because they're evil, cats. Because what they do, have you ever seen any films from like the 1950s? You'll get gang members in leather jackets, and they get those flick knives, and they go, and the knife comes out of the...
That's literally what they've got in the paws, I think.
Absolutely.
We've got 2 cats at the moment, and one of them likes digging her claws in.
Does she sit on your knee and do that little paddy paw thing where you go, pad?
They both do.
Well, they do. That's because that's a lovely thing. Until you take your top off and then you see all the scratch marks on your belly. But yeah, I kind of like that. But the one, why did the cat attack people who were short of hair on top?
I've got no idea. It was its thing, I think.
Right.
And my friend, he had one years ago called Patch. It was this black and white one, and it had, Hitler's mustache and his hair parting. That's the markers that it had on its face. And you could be sitting minding your own business and it would just attack everyone. It was evil, honestly.
Maybe it's Hitler in his new life. He's come.
That's what I used to call it.
Come back as
honestly.
a cat.
I had this top once that had like a string going down my leg, and it clawed its way up my leg to get the string.
That would knock. I mean, when he ever said, give us your paw, did he ever kind of lift his paw up?
No, I didn't even try it with that one. And then I've just remembered as well, my grandma, before she passed away, she had this ginger cat called Ginger.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I would go to Carlisle to visit, she hated me, I'm sure.
Right.
She would perch on the chair between the living room and the kitchen, and I would edge around her, and I would have to explain everything I was doing. I would be like, I'm just going into the kitchen, I'm just washing my plate, I'm coming back, please don't attack.
So when she attacked you, did she go like slash at you with a claw? Or what did she do? Or did she try and bite you?
And swipe with her claws, but I'm quick, so I avoided it.
The thing is, the other thing that cats do that nobody warns you about until you've actually got a cat is, you say they hiss. When they hiss, they do that thing where they kind of stand on tiptoes and make, and all the hair stands on end.
The arch the back and the hair goes up.
Nobody tells, because they look twice the size of the cat that you had 5 minutes ago. It's a scary damn thing when you've got a nasty. And as I mentioned in that clip, I had a real nasty little bee. He just was not a nice thing. If you're walking around, you didn't have anything on your feet, because I like walking around in bare feet if I can. And then all of a sudden you got 5 marks across your ankle. And it's just, and cats can, what cats, they're digging in litter and stuff. You can get really nasty septicemia and blood poisoning.
I think my uncle actually had blood poisoning once off one of his cat scratches.
Can believe it, absolutely. Yeah. And they say that also cat poo, if kids get it and they touch their eyes, they can have all kinds of toxicara, I think it's called. Nasty. Ugh. So you just got to be careful and not take any chances with them. Anything else then, Caitlin?
No, just that I got myself a new job.
Oh, what are you doing?
Since the last time, working back in a hotel.
Right.
A different one this time.
Happy with it?
I am, yes. I'm only in 3 days a week, which I love, because then I can work around whatever else I'm doing, like seeing my goddaughters.
Are you doing longer shifts, or are you just doing like 7 hours, 21?
Normal shifts, 24 hours a week.
Right. Can you manage on that?
I feel like I can. Like, I don't treat myself too much anyway, so...
Right. Hey, the bottom line is, if you're happy and you've got a bit of space and you've got something that's putting food on a plate, it's as much as you can hope for these days, because there's a lot of people going to be on the cheeks of their bum before this lot's finished, that's for sure.
I'm just counting down the weeks until my first odd experience in this hotel. Because it was about a month into my last job, and I was like, what's going on?
So tell me a weird experience of the kind of thing that people do in your hotels.
I've had a stag do in once where the groom went missing. And
Right.
his friends came back plastered. And one of them went, the moon's out tonight. I went, oh, how are then? Where's this going?
Right.
And he went, he flew past the moon in that film, didn't he? I went, yeah.
Blimey.
He went, I think we should send my friend up to the moon. It would save everything that's happening. I was like, oh, God.
Yeah.
I was standing there going, just go up to your room.
The problem is when they're drunk, it's all a waste of time, because they're not going to remember it in the morning, anything that you tell them. But
I think he turned up at 3 a.m. or something like that.
Have you ever had that thing where one of your chambermaids walks in on a naked person, like a naked man?
I haven't heard any stories like that when I've been working. And I was in there for since July to March when the lockdown started. Now, that happened when I was there.
No, because I must admit, I was naked on a bed, and a chambermaid came in and saw me, eventually. Anyway, that's another story. Thanks for coming on, Caitlin.
It's all right.
Thanks for calling. Take it easy.
Bye.
Thanks, love. Bye-bye. She got a new job. Good on her. Fab. Now, Daniel is in Washington. Let us go to Washington and see what is happening. It's not D.C. It's Tainan Weir. Hello, Daniel. What can we do for you tonight?
I want to talk about complicated relationships.
Oh, yeah. Do tell. What's happening?
Well, what it is I've been with a girl for a few years now.
Okay.
But the relationship's a bit toxic.
Right. In what way?
She tries to control us and things.
Right.
And obviously I like to be my own person.
Okay.
But obviously a few years is 3-4 years.
Right.
But I don't obviously I'm gonna throw it away, but I've met a new girl that likes us for who I am.
Right.
What would your thoughts be on it, Alan?
You've been with her 4 years. Are you living with her?
Well, sort of, yeah.
Sort of, yeah. Do you have a place of your own?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Because that does make a massive difference, rather than 100% of the time I'm there. You've just got to be honest. There's no easy way of doing it. What I wouldn't say is, oh, by the way, you know how toxic this relationship's got? I found another woman. She's much nicer than you. That's not the conversation to have. The conversation to have is, we've been arguing a lot. I don't want any more of it. I've decided that it's over between us. But thanks for the good times. They were great. I wish you all the best. I don't wish you any harm. All the very best to you. But it's best that we take a break and see where life leads us. Now, you don't say, because it's going to lead me up the path of this other dolly that I've just met, and we might have sex this week. You don't mention that. You just wish her all the best and end it. But don't start anything serious until you do. Because A, it's disrespectful. B, turns you into a scumbag. 3, you got a chance to do it the right way. All right?
Yeah, see, that's how I would say. Obviously, I've told the girl that I was with 3 years that it's over. I'm not happy anymore.
Mm-hmm. What's she saying though? Then, if you're not happy anymore, I mean, is she saying, "Well, I'll try harder and things will be better"? Or
nah, she's just calling us a dirty little rat.
Well, if you've got to that point where she's abusing you to that degree, you got to take a walk, haven't you? That's the thing. The good thing is, though, you've still got your own place.
Yeah.
So that's where you go. You make sure you get all your important things out before you tell her. And because they are prone to throw things or take things or hold things. Or does she have access to any of your monies?
No.
Well, you're in a better place than you thought. So, But just be honest with her. Tell her that it's not happening, and you've had enough. And
I try, like if I say, oh, I'm going for a pint with my friend, or there's World War III.
Right. Well, bottom line is, if you care for somebody and you love them enough, if they say, I'm going away for a week, you absolutely trust them and you let them do their thing. You can't hold people if they want to do things. Let them do it. And she's not, so you got to walk anyway. You're not going to be happy. And the sheer fact that you've already got your eye on somebody else, and bloke to bloke, once that happens, it's over anyway.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's done. You know that. You know what's going to happen. You've just got to try and do it a nice way rather than a hurtful way, even though she's already been hurtful towards you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, man. Good luck.
Also, Alan,
yeah.
Can you remember I phoned a few months ago? I had the kidney stones.
Yes. Oh, good grief.
Can you remember?
Yes, absolutely. What happened?
Well, I got them all sorted.
How? Did you wee them out, or did they have to act on you?
Laser them.
Well, that's better than going up the end with a. That's the thing. Hey.
I was for over a week.
Oh, it's not nothing remotely funny about the phrase kidney stone to me. I've had far too many, but I've never had them lasered. What do they actually do? Do they stick the laser up the end of it, or are they doing? They do that.
They take you down to theatre, you're asleep, could obviously.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then they open the end up and push this tube. They put the stent up there.
Right.
And that opens your tube, and then they put the laser, and then it breaks them all up. And then they leave the stent in for a week.
Yeah.
And then they just pass through, but they're really that. They're that small, you can't see them.
Now the thing is, I've had the stent thing myself. I don't envy you. Did you? What they said to me, because it was Christmas Day, it was due to come out. Can you imagine? What a Christmas present! And they said, just jerk the because the bit of string they leave hanging out from your
Yes, a bit of string.
You're supposed to tug the string, and the stent comes out. Well, I expected the stent to be like the top of a pen, maybe. A little tiny thing. Yeah. It's about 8 inches long.
Yes.
Hell's teeth. And did you wet yourself when it came out?
Oh yeah.
Well, it's like, I'll just pull it. Why didn't they tell me I stood in the bath or something? No, it's not acceptable. I didn't do it in the loo. I was in the living room. I just went with when it comes out. So you just go, oh, that's the thought anyway.
See, I had to go back and get mine pulled out by a nurse.
Well, I must admit, I did have help from my wife, which is, first of all, the most shameful thing. Would you do me a favour? And you stand there with it out. Would you do me a favour? Come on, it's only 2:00 in the afternoon. No, what I mean is, no, it wasn't a pleasurable experience. But I'm glad it's over for you, man. Congratulations. Oh, God, yeah. You're not in any pain now. Happy days.
Nah, that's it. I'm sorted now.
Good man, good lad. Well, hey, I hope all goes well with the soon-to-be ex, and good luck with the new lady. Thanks for coming on.
Cheers, Alan.
Cheers, Daniel. All the best. Bye-bye. 01914883188. What are you going to talk about? Oh, hang on a second. We got another massage just coming in. And it's from Tracy. Missed you, but Chris did a great job last week. As I say, he's a good lad. A rising star. And David has been on. Alan, my sister's cat's been missing since Tuesday. It's very unusual for him. He's all black with green eyes. No other distinctive features. He was last seen wearing a purple collar, but he loses his colour a lot. She lives in Burnopfield on Garesfield Gardens. Could people in the local area of Burnopfield please check their sheds and garages, because he loves to climb into places. We think he might be trapped somewhere. His name's Casper. There's a picture of this black pussy right here. Any help? He looks like a cute little black cat rather than a vicious one. So watch out for Casper. He's somewhere in and around Burnopfield. Okay, so keep an eye out for him if you possibly can. Meanwhile, let's head across to John, who is also in Washington. Hello, John.
Hello, Alan. How are you doing?
I'm all right, man. Thanks for calling in. What's your story then?
It was about a car incident doing lockdown.
Yeah, what's happened?
What happened, right, was obviously I got furloughed,
Right.
and then the furlough scheme finished, so I ended up going back to work.
Right.
And I was on my way to a job with a load of materials,
Mm-hmm.
and I heard like a gulf sound, and I looked underneath my seat, and a big ball of flames was coming up underneath us.
What?
Aye. So my instant reaction was get out, seatbelt off, brake, jump out.
Absolutely.
As I jumped out, the van was still moving.
Oh.
I ended up rolling down the road, smashed all my ribs, my feet, my legs, and the van rolled into a car on the other side of the road.
Uh-huh.
But when the fire brigade came, obviously checked it out, there was no fire, and there was no burn marks or nothing. What happened was aerosol had rolled from the passenger side underneath the driver's side seat.
Right.
Obviously, it's ignited off the driver's seat in the battery terminal.
Right.
And exploded underneath my seat.
And
So,
I would have thought, and again, hey, you've got to be in that situation to know what you'd really do, because it's easy to say, oh well, I would have made sure that they pulled the, I would sit burning my backside off while I was pulling into the side and park it in a suitable way. Was your instinct not to emergency brake?
well, at the time it was just like brake, get out.
Right.
But obviously, when there's like yellow flames coming up like underneath there,
No, gotcha.
you haven't got time, I think.
I'm guessing, though, that because they couldn't find any particular burn marks or scorches or whatever, they're now not believing there was a fire and that you just
Made it up.
hopped out the car for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
Now,
And that was the situation at the time.
right, so what's being said? I presume you filled in like an insurance claim form or similar.
Well, obviously the police and the fire brigade, them were coming to the scene, and obviously them agreed what had happened.
Right.
And they explained to us what had happened.
Right.
But explained to me old employer at the time was just difficult.
Did he not believe you?
No.
But why? You see, now, I would have to believe you because I can't think of any reason why anybody would jump out of a moving car.
Well, the thing is, though, I thought I was going like insane, thinking, did I actually jump out of it? Or like, but obviously the aerosol was underneath the seat,
Right.
and obviously that was melted. But any second sooner, and if I hadn't jumped out, there would have been a big explosion in the front of the van with me in it.
Right. So presumably the can then had exploded under the seat.
Yes, it nipped off the metal, and obviously with the spark of a live terminal in an earth, it caused a spark, and obviously with the pressure of the canister, it went up in flames,
It's really irritating though, because there's no. Is it anywhere near a camera that you could possibly say, well, hang on, look, this is what happened?
Well, obviously the fire took pictures and things like that,
But that's after you're out and after it's already hit something.
Yes, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, the car that it hit, lucky enough, the person wasn't seriously hurt or anything like that. Obviously, there was only me that was like seriously hurt by jumping out.
Sure. I mean, how badly hurt were you? I mean, presumably you were rolling around the ground, I'm guessing.
Yeah, well, obviously my boots had all ripped to pieces.
Right.
Obviously my ribs were fractured.
Yeah, but you see, this is another reason why, well, why else would you leap out of a moving car? I mean, because if you say that's what happened, here's the remnants of the exploded canister.
Yeah.
What more do you need?
Hey, that's it. I mean, but some people, they don't want to believe it,
Ay. That's just daft.
You couldn't write it, Alan. You couldn't write it.
No, this is the thing. And how badly damaged were both vehicles then? Were they knackered?
Well, I mean, the van was front-end damaged. The other vehicle was front-end damage as well, like front side.
Right. So, but the bottom line is, you didn't get sacked over this, did you?
Yes.
Oh, that's not good. So they sacked you because of an accident What would they have done though if they'd have been in a car that had a fire under the passenger seat? It's not like you could say, "Well, hang on a second, I'll just sit and burn here while you get away from it as fast as you can."
Well, the thing is, a lot of people say, "Well, why didn't you just stop and put the handbrake on and get out?" At the time when there's a naked flame coming up underneath your seat, you haven't got time to think about.
No, I understand that.
You know.
Did you think about appealing against the sacking?
Well, not really. I just took it on the chin, you know.
Yeah, but it's when you go to your next job, they're going to ask for a reference, and you're not going to get a reference off the bloke who thinks that you were either clumsy or you didn't put the handbrake on, and you're trying to cover up the fact that that you let the car roll down the hill and bump into another vehicle, potentially hurting somebody.
Yeah, well, I spoke to him a couple of months after, you know, and he just says, "Look, if anyone rings up, you'll give us a good reference.
Right.
But bygones be bygones."
That's what he says. But whether that's what he does, they're two separate things, aren't they, though? So you're not working at the minute, then?
No, I'm not.
Because this is not a good time to be out, as you know, for anybody. Well, I wish you back into work soon, John.
Right,
thanks for coming in, man. Good to hear the story.
Problem.
Thank you.
Cheers,
bye. Now, some people would have made a story up. Well, I've left the handbrake off. It's crashed into another car. Well, it was I can understand the boss thinking maybe, perhaps, who knows. Now, we've been talking about animals. We talked about tarantulas and scary creepy crawlies before. Swing Out Sister, a band that underrated, in my opinion. I asked Swing Out Sister what they were frightened of.
I'm not frightened of horses. I think that's what the problem is. I love animals. I want to kiss them all. And even, I was trying to jump off, actually, so this horse could stop and eat grass, because she obviously wanted me off. Yeah. She wanted to stop and eat. She didn't like me. I wasn't a good enough rider. That's probably what it was. What am I really frightened of? Heights. I'm scared of heights, but it's something I try and overcome, but it makes me tremble, it makes me shake. If I look down and there isn't anything supporting, it's a very specific kind of fear of heights. If there's nothing supporting the thing that I am standing on and I can see straight down to the ground, then I'll just go doolally. I go completely to jelly. I mean, flying doesn't bother me so much, which you would think would be the same thing, but I did walk up the stairs of the Eiffel Tower once thinking it would be a good idea. Look down. If you can imagine, the legs of the Eiffel Tower curve up, so every time you go up some steps, you stop on a sort of metal grid platform and you look down, there's nothing underneath it because you're on a curve. And I looked down, had my arms on both sides of the stair, and everyone was trying to come up and go down at the same time. I couldn't move my hands. I was gripping so tight my legs had gone to jelly. But I didn't know before that. So same thing happened up the Sagrada Familia, because I just thought, I'm not really scared of height. So I don't really go to the top of any tall buildings anymore.
Especially those, I presume, that don't have, a lot of them have got glass floors these days. My goodness, that would do you no good at all.
0191 488 3188.
This is Night Owls.
Now, as you know, we have a podcast called Alan Robson's Grizzly Tales, and there's a new episode out tomorrow from 12 noon. Okay, 12 noon it becomes available. It's available everywhere. This episode is certainly not for the faint-hearted, because I'm putting into a chart, the worst ever tortures performed on human beings. Now, over the years, torture has become a bit of a speciality of mine. We've travelled the world looking and finding horrific tortures. I'm putting them into a chart for this particular podcast. Gruesome, stomach-turning, all those kind of things. Also, after that, I'm telling the story of Daniel Boone. Now, back in the day, 60s probably, there was a TV series starring a man called Fess Parker. Daniel Boone was a man. He was a big man. And Fess Parker wasn't actually all that big. However, he played Daniel Boone, pioneer, woodsman, explorer, frontiersman, fought against Native Americans and a lot of other people. His story's incredible, and I will be telling that on the podcast too. Want to check it out. It's amazing. And a torture top 10, or 12, or 15, can't remember now, but there was a lot of them. Anyway, that's tomorrow. Other thing, Danielle Kelly Watson just sent a thing in during the break. What do you think of dreams where you leave your body, meeting dead grandparents and people that you've never even met before, perhaps on another plane? I got two things about this. I'll give you the skeptical one first. The skeptical one is a lot of people have phoned me over the years saying that they can do a thing called astrally travelling, when it's the soul, the life force, leaves the body and travels somewhere. And a lot of people have said to me, oh, last night I was in Hong Kong and I saw this and I witnessed that, and at the bottom of this street there's a this, and I've never been there before. How did I know? Well, there was no way of proving it one way or another. So I thought, well, let's create a way to prove it. In my office, back in another building, in Swalwell, in fact, in my office, I had a street sign that I'd picked up on me travels on the wall, the name of a street. And anybody that walked in the office knew what it was. So I said, okay, if you guys can astrally travel, and we had about half a dozen that said, I can travel anywhere. So I said, okay, astrally travel, because walls don't hold you, obviously, because you're traveling in the ether, like a radio wave maybe. So I said, okay, if you can travel through walls and stuff, astrally travel to the office. It's the main room on the first floor. That's where you go. And there's a street sign. Just astrally travel in and tell me the name of the street sign, and then I'll believe you. About 20 people said they were going to astrally travel. And people were coming in with, is it this street or that? You tried a lot of, is it Northumberland Street? No, it's not Northumberland Street. Is it Regent's Park Road? And they came up with all of these different, is it Abbey Road? Because I like the Beatles. Is it Abbey Road? They tried guessing, but they were just guessing. None of them had actually astrally travelled into that office. It was, in fact, Carnaby Street, is what the sign said, but nobody even guessed it. However, on saying that, I have astrally travelled once, or it could have been a vivid dream. Because, you can't prove these things. One night, I was fast asleep, and I woke up staring down at me in bed, which is not a pretty sight at the best of times. But I could see myself, and I was able to go into rooms next door where there wasn't anybody, and I'm staring down at everything that's there, thinking, whoa, what the hell's this? This has not happened before. And other people have said about astral travel, well, just you're attached to your own body by this seemingly silver thread. And if you panic, You can jump back into your body, and sometimes you can even have a heart attack with a shock, not realizing or not believing it, and suddenly it's happening. I did panic. I didn't travel any distance other than within the house. And I woke up with a start, and I was sitting in bed again. But I clearly saw in the semi-darkness, because it was early hours of the morning, and I could see what was on the bedside table, and it was exactly what I had on the bedside table. And next door, I noticed that a jacket that I'd put on the back of a chair was on the floor. And when I got up the next morning and walked into that room, the jacket was on the floor. Now, it wasn't the night before, and I don't know how that happened. So, do I believe it can happen? Yes, or maybe it's a wild dream. But it's interesting. Tell me your stories if you've ever had any of that. Anyway, the Song of Love is a sweet one. Hi, Lily. Hi, Lily. Hello. Hello, Lily.
Hi, Alan.
Hello there. What can we do for you tonight?
You know the social distancing markers which the council's been putting everywhere?
Yes, absolutely.
Don't get me wrong, I think it's brilliant, so we can clearly work out what side of the street we're meant to be going on.
How come we're the only country on earth that needs to know what side of the street to walk on? Everybody else just has this idea of, well, we need to be a couple of yards from people, so we'll just keep our distance. Why do we need an arrow?
To try and stop confusion, I guess.
Really?
I don't know the reasoning behind it.
All right, but you think it's a good idea. Fair enough.
I think it's a good idea.
Right.
But I'm sure Newcastle Council had two different teams putting the arrows down.
Why? What have you spotted?
Northumberland Street, it is a keep right policy. So you
Yep.
keep on the right-hand side.
Mm-hmm.
Such as what we'd use on the escalators on the metro.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yep.
As soon as you get to around by Haymarket Metro, it's a keep left policy.
Oh, right. So everybody's got to crisscross
So
there.
you've got to switch sides if you're walking anywhere around
Right.
Haymarket.
Gotcha. But you see, common sense, right? First of all, I'm going to answer this in kind of two ways. First of all, the idea of the stewardesses on planes are exempt. Lorry drivers going to the continent, and there's thousands of them, are exempt. So therefore, any COVID that is out there, we've got ways of getting it back without anybody wearing a mask, because then none of these people are wearing masks. So I beg the question, why are we locking down countries when our lorry drivers and our cabin crew are still fairly universally not wearing masks at all? So that just kind of, you cannot have it, well, but they're all right not to wear a mask, but all the rest of you have to, because that doesn't make sense. The policy of putting arrows on streets and in shops, because you'll have noticed in some supermarkets, you got to walk in there, you can't go out that door, and there's usually a bloke in a yellow jacket saying, hey, not that door, this door here, pointing you around. It's kind of like supermarket police. And I'm personally against all of that. You tell the people, stay 2 meters away from one another, and if you come in a shop, wear a mask. If you stay 2 yards away from people and you wear a mask, you're doing everything the government want you to do. But this whole idea that there's this one guy who, in most cases, isn't wearing a mask standing outside, is telling you which door. You can't walk through that. I hate all. I'm sorry. It kind of grinds me up the wrong way. But again, if you're going to have it at all, it has to be consistent. You can't do that. Okay, everybody cross to the other side. It's like one big city-wide hokey-cokey. You're on the right, now you're on the left, turn, you can. But you see, I've walked the Northumberland Street thing, and it's the same in most of the northern major cities, and it's just, if you're on the side, let's say you're on the side of Phoenix, okay, you're just walking past the window, there's Greg's on the other side, I fancy a pasty. You don't have to walk right down to the bottom, walk across and then come up the other side. You can just walk straight across. And then when you come out, you walk straight across to the other side. And you do that with 5 or 6 shops. What's the point of having the arrows? It doesn't make sense. Only if you have to walk to the bottom and you have to walk all the way back around. That's the only way it makes sense, and they're not doing that. So the whole thing, as far as I'm concerned, I want to keep people safe, but I think it's
wall down the middle.
I just think it's a farce, the whole thing, honestly. And you either, if you're going to have people just with a keep right or keep left policy, they have to keep right to the bottom. And if they say, oh, I've forgotten something at Primark, then you've got to walk right the way up the other side, right up to the top. If you're going to do it at all, I just don't see the point, personally. But and it's interesting, because when Harry said he's been to like 3 countries in the last, because he's a lorry driver, he's been to 3 countries fairly recently. He's been on holiday in 1, and he says in all of those countries there's no errors and there's no problem. It's just in Britain we've got this, let's tell everybody every single thing that they're allowed to do.
I have a suspicious inkling that because of the nature of the people in charge, this is not me saying any political stuff.
Right.
It's just the way that they've approached the whole situation. They consider most of the common, in a quotation marks, people.
Us, you mean?
Like general normal people which haven't been to Eton,
right,
to study, as they can't comprehend what whether their hands left or right. So we've got to stick arrows so they understand what they need to do.
These stupid people, we have to tell them exactly what they have. I hate that.
Because they don't abide by their own rules.
But if you think about it, well, they don't, and we've already seen them travelling around, and even going. There was one Irish minister who's just had to resign because he went to 2 countries that you're not allowed to go to. But it's me holidays, I'm going to have a nice time. So he did, and he's ultimately had to resign. But the truth of the matter if you had a house that had a drive that's half a mile long, and you live there, and you're chauffeur driven to your job, you have no perception of what it's like for the guy that's got to get on a bus every day to go to work with maybe 400 to 500 people working around him. You got no idea about that. So therefore, you make all of these rules for people whose lives you've never led. So you don't understand. And because of that, it's been absolutely farcical. I think it's been handled probably worse than any other country on the planet, from what I can see, with the possible exception of America. But no, it's not being political. It's just politicians in general, I think, have done an awful lot wrong with the whole COVID thing. And if they knew what it was, and they still really don't, if they knew how it was spread, and they tell us they do, but they're not really that certain, especially when a professor can say masks make it worse. What? Because what they're saying is that, if you use the same mask over and over and over again, chances are the outside of the mask has COVID on it, and people change the mask from side to side, so you're making it you're getting it closer to your face, which is exactly the place where you don't want it. So, hey, who do you believe? That's the thing. All we can do is go along with what we're being told and hope for the best. And I just don't trust. I wouldn't trust them with me dinner money, let alone with the life of myself, my family, grandparents. People who are really, really elderly. Hell's teeth. It's a scary time for everyone.
The one country which I think is actually doing a good job is New Zealand.
Right. But you see, every now and then you come across a country and you say, how few people per 1,000? And they seem to...
Literally, they had 1 case and the city went into lockdown.
1 case?
1 case.
Wow. Yeah. You see, this idea, though, that Boris said he was not going to universally lock down again because in retrospect it wasn't a good idea. In other words, too late, the economy's ruined, but I won't do that again. And then he's come up with this idea, well, just lock down the places where there's a spike. Now, that kind of makes sense. I can't argue with that. But then when it comes to Europe, Paris is a problem, apparently, but the rest of France is fairly, I think it's 2 cities that are dodgy. The rest of them are all under that 10% that they're supposed to be, which everybody was aiming for. They're less than that. But instead he says, no, you can't go to France at all. Well, that's the reverse of what he said. He said he was only going to have little areas that were going to be locked down. And he's penalised all those people that have paid for a holiday because he said they could. And now he says, well, you're going to have to try and get your money back if you can. And you never get it all back. You know, it's just a real pig's lug, really. Bit of a mess. Anything else then, Lil?
No, nothing tonight.
Okay, man. Good talking to you. Thanks for coming on.
Take care.
Cheers, Lily. Bye-bye. There is Lily. Council's one way. Are you for it? Or maybe you're completely, you're not the way that I am about the whole thing. Maybe you completely disagree. If you do, feel free to, because I think that a lot of things have been just cocked up to such a degree. And, once you make a mistake, particularly a mistake that costs people millions of pounds, and that's what the whole the Spain thing did it first. They did it again with France. And get back before 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. Like, how easy is that? And people paid up to 5 times the amount to get back to Britain. And you'll never get a penny of that back again. Not a penny. Because if holidays, maybe your travel insurance can sort it out for you. But if you decide to travel not on the one you'd booked, that's from your own pocket. And it's scandalous. Because what they could have said was, okay, get back over the next couple of days and then we'll lock it down, give everybody a chance to get home. But no, 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. That's not funny. That's the kind of person that does that is the kind of person that can afford it. Well, the job that I'm on, I'm getting £200,000 a year. It's no problem for me getting back. But for your ordinary person, it's just I'm sorry. Grr. Let me just say grr with a capital G. Let's move on to Ross, who is in Blythe. Hiya, Ross.
Hiya, Alan.
Hello, mate.
Right.
Good to talk to you again. What you on about tonight?
Well, it was originally going to be about vicious pets.
Oh, go on then.
But, I'll get that out of the way first. But it was a really aggressive tropical fish I had. No,
right.
Honestly, a South American cichlid called Oscar.
Right.
And he just bullied every other fish. I got him as a little 2-inch little lovely thing.
Now, I had an Oscar.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
but tell me your story first and I'll tell you mine.
16 years later, and 6 tanks later, when I upgraded bigger and bigger and bigger, I ended up with a bloody 5-foot tank to fit. And he battered every other fish. He was a bully. He was like a Rottweiler of the fish world.
Yeah.
But lovely to look at, and I was hand feeding him and that, but he wouldn't have anyone else in. That was it. He was territorial. But
the one that I had was kind of like grey with reddy bits in. Is that the same fish we're talking about?
Similar, yeah.
Because what happened with me was, when you buy tropical fish and you go into usually it's like a garden centre nowadays, or there's one or two like proper aquarium shops. But when you go in, most of them are colour coded, and they say this one's for a community tank where everybody gets along. This one's a bit dodgy. In here you've got to be a bit careful with them. And in the other one, that's the red little dot. Yeah. They've got to have space for themselves. Now, the guys had put one of these Oscars in a community tank. Now, I had a community tank with loads of little guppies and catfish and plecostromus, those big long ones that suck on the algae on the tank. So I had a real mixture of stuff in there. Angelfish, I had all kinds. Right. And one day I came back and I said, where are all the guppies gone? And the Oscar was a little bit bigger than he was the day before. And eventually the Oscar, and like you said, they grow to the size of the area that they've got. Oh. So that's why you keep upgrading the tank and the fish gets bigger. Upgrade the tank and the fish gets bigger, and on and on and on. And eventually I had 3 catfish left, 2 plecostromus because they were probably too big, and the Oscar ate everything else. It cleared the tank of every fish.
They'd be all right because they're too big.
Yep. But a dangerous little beggar. And again, I went back to the garden centre and I said, that fish you sold me, and you said it was it was in the wrong tank. Sorry. Well, a bit late. I probably had 70 fish in there, a lot of them little small things. And they all went to Journey. And, yes, a lovely fish to look at. Frankly, I'd rather have 69 other fish than one Oscar.
I didn't know you went to fish, Alan.
Oh, back in the day, I used to have 3 tanks. Right. I had a saltwater tank, I had a cold water tank, and I had a one that just had, like, your standard black moors, goldfish, those kind of things, yeah.
Right, I ended up breeding a lot of them. I had 6 tanks. I was breeding angelfish and all sorts. Discus, the lovely, lovely coloured ones.
Yeah.
I had people coming from Berwick and Durham and that to buy them from my house.
Fantastic.
It was weird. Like, you didn't make much money because you're costing that much to maintain them. You had electricity and the food, but that was the pet story. But when I've been on the line there, I've heard about the Astral dreaming thing?
Astral projection, it's called, yeah.
Right. Well, that's got me thinking, because years ago, it would have been about 2004, so what we're going about 16 years. I probably shouldn't have, but I was having certain medication and it said don't take alcohol with it. But I did have 1 bottle of alcohol, bottle of Grolsch. I remember it was Boxing Day, night time, and it must have affected with it. But I had such a weird situation. I'll tell you it now. It sounds very similar to what you were on about before. I was laying on my bed. I'm not joking here. I'm serious. I've literally lying on my bed. My eyelids started chattering, teeth chattering. My entire body was shaking. I floated above my mattress, above the duvet, and I saw, like, people say, like, the joke, they say, "Oh, you see the light and stuff." I saw a really bright light. It was like I was crapping myself, to be honest. And I came above my bed. Right. I've told a few close mates this, not many people, but I've told 2 people this. You're the third. But I've seen this light, and every single dead person that I knew flashed through my head. My great uncle, my granddad, all the different people who had already died just appeared in me head. And then I remember shouting, "I don't want to die now," and I flung back from basically I was nearly at the ceiling, and I just flung back, bang, boosh, back under the mattress.
Right. And did you wake up then?
No. In the morning.
In the morning.
I told my mum and dad, right, I'm never having those tablets ever again.
It's not the Grolsch. You're still going to have some Grolsch, but the tablets, that's the end of it.
Yeah, it was because it said do not mix with alcohol. It was, let's just, I don't want to go into too much, but let's just say it was strong tablets about depression and stuff and sleeping, and I took them back to the doctors. I said, "Nah, I've had that really bad experience. I'm never having them ever again." And when I heard you on about that, I thought, "Ooh, was that one of those situations?" Or
it's one of those things like you'll never know, though. It's because this is not an exact science, and the fact that could that have been a vivid dream because you didn't like taking the tablets anyway?
No, I know it definitely happened. Right. I mean, if that didn't happen, then I don't know what's going on, but in my personal thing, that happened, and I was like really scared. I was like, "Whoa, what just happened there?" I literally just floated above my bed. But who knows?
When it happened to me, the frightened thing, I absolutely understand, because when it happened to me, I was conscious. I was asleep because I could see me sleeping. There I am. But I was conscious that I was floating like you were, and you kind of looked down, and then I'd moved across, and I went through the wall, but at a height where I should really, I suppose, have been in the attic, or it felt like it. But I moved across, and I saw the room next door, and I kind of went, "Whoa, I don't want to fall there." So I kind of panicked and moved back to where I was, where I fell on the bed, and then I woke up and sat up, and I was kind of back together again. If I was ever apart, If it was a vivid dream, who the hell knows? But it felt absolutely 100% that that's what happened.
I saw someone on Twitter had a similar thing on.
Right.
And, I replied going, that happened to me as well. I mean, I don't tell many people this, but I've just told
You've told us, I say you told one or two.
I've told them Ollie Robson's Night Owls fans, but no, it was years ago. I'm not on that now, but who knows whether it was just a medication or what? But
yeah,
I was really scared at the time. I was like,
I'm not surprised.
What is happening? Like literally, your heart rate, your heart was boop, 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 pumping.
Yeah,
and whether it was like push, you're nearly at the higher rate of like your pulse, and it was like too much. So when it does. Anyone who's listening, if it says do not take alcohol with this medication, do not. That was off one bottle of Grolsch, like a small bottle of lager, and that's all that happened. And my mum and dad went. I'll never forget it because it was Boxing Day night. We had Christmas. I had a bottle of lager, and they said you must take your tablets. I went, no, I've had a bottle of lager. They went, no, you must take them. I went, no, I can't because it says.
Right.
And I went, no, you must, and I did. And I went, well, you've told us I've got to take that tablet, and it ended up it could have been bad, and I think it was anyway. But no, but the other things. What one about?
What's the other thing?
What was the other subjects one about tonight?
Oh, it's your cats. Well, pets in general. Socially distancing gigs, I think, was the other thing you wanted to talk about.
Well, I've decided not to go to any, even though I'm a massive music fan. Love me gigs and festivals. But
why not then?
No, it wouldn't be the same. I just cannot see how it. Fair enough, people have done it. They've done Gosforth Park and that. They've had Sam Fender and I think like Beatles have been on today and stuff.
That's right.
All sorts, but it just looks weird. They've got their metal pens and it's 5-6 people per thing, but I don't know. I want to be in a gig, jumping up and down, mixing in with people, meeting new people.
Absolutely.
Jumping up and down, but...
You see, I feel for the people who are performers who can't make a living. I feel for them because we're a long way off them being able to earn. And how they're going to manage, I don't know. So I kind of want any kind of gig that we can get. But once again, I don't understand how you can have 500 people in a supermarket, but you can't have 500 people at a gig. Because trust me, when you get queuing, you're within a foot of people. You're not within 2 yards of people. You're within a foot of people. And you could have a gig and, okay, you might have to put a mask on. Put a damn mask on and have a dance. I don't understand how one's okay and the other one's heinous. Because I think you could probably, if you can have one, you can have the other, maybe.
That's a big thing. Wait, me personally, it's really missing is the gigs and the music scene.
Sure, me too.
It's really, but you on about the Mayfair before and all that, the old gigs?
Yeah.
Well, obviously I'm a bit too young to remember, but my mum was barred from the Mayfair for dance on the tables.
People did, for sure.
Aye, she was barred. It works do, dance on the tables. Because probably we used to have all the gigs there, and my dad went to see Jimi Hendrix at the Club of Go-Go down the street or something.
Yeah.
It was like 50 cents or bob or whatever it was.
No, it was Club of Go-Go was just down a little dark lane from where the Mayfair was. It was funny because in the afternoon, you'd get all the grannies in the blue rinse set going in for a game of bingo, and then at 4 o'clock it stopped, and Motorhead were putting their amps on stage while all the nanas were coming back home to make the tea. And it was what kind of place is this? It was quite a spectacular venue.
Probably the Animals were the house band. Imagine that. So they were on like
Club of Go-Go, yeah.
Oh, every week. Oh, I hear these stories off my dad. I'm like, really unbelievable. You've seen Free, The Doors, The Who, The Lot. It's incredible, really.
This is the thing. The Who were on at the Odeon, I remember once, and T-Rex around about the same time. But we're going to take a quick break, Ross. Thank you very much for coming on. Opened a lot of doors.
See you all later.
Take it easy, man. Bye-bye. How good is that? Okay, going to take a quick break, then we might just have a superstar for you.
This is real life conversation with the voice of the North.
This is Night Owls with Alan Robson.
Call 0191 488 3188.
Greatest Hits Radio.
Now, I must admit, I'm super grateful to a lady called Mrs. Norma Cleveland. She lives in South Shields, and she says, I have a little owl for you from the place we both love, I believe, Prague. Prague. Love Prague. If you could I trouble you to send a reply just so I know that he has not flown away? So what I'd like to do, Tony, if it's all right with you, we can make sure we send a signed something to Norma just to say thank you, because from Czechoslovakia, which is where Prague is, but Czech Republic actually, she sent me a little owl. There you go. Christmas tree owl, which is very nice. So thank you very much for your little yellow owl. Nice stuff. And I also haven't given you your first clue for tonight's competition. Now, that is to win one of these, but this is a Night Owls mug. Have you seen me crack? There you go. Get to those phones Sundays from 10 p.m. Hang on. There you go. Crack it again. You can win one of these, okay? And all you got to do is identify a song from just a few words that's in the song. You've always managed to, at least one of you, there was one where only one person got it right. This is the first clue. The 4 Marvel superheroes are known as this. There's some Marvel superheroes called the Something 4, okay? The Something 4. It's an F word, not that one. The Something 4. That's your first clue, okay? It's the Human Torch, it's the bendy bloke, it's the Invisible Woman, and the bloke who looks like a big turd. The Something 4, okay? That's your first clue. 3 more clues to come. Tell me the name of the song, but wait till you hear the 4th clue before you ring in. Anyway, let's go across to one of our beloved Night Owl girls. How we wish we were all back together. However, a brand new venture has begun, I gather, for our Dawn. Hello, Dawn.
Hello.
Hello, Dana. How you doing?
Missing you guys like mad.
Absolutely, man. It's mutual. How you doing, though? Yeah, I gather you've started a new biz. What's going on?
I have, and it all came about accidentally.
Yeah, what happened?
Well, just before lockdown, I decided to teach myself how to crochet.
Right.
Like, as in, literally woke up one Saturday morning, thought I want to learn, went and bought the stuff, downloaded a book on Kindle, and taught myself. And then after a few months, after about 2-3 months, people started asking me to make stuff and were offering me money for it.
Well, hang on. We're just putting on our screen some Annesley gifts, which I think is
Yes.
what you're called.
That's the name of the business.
Oh, you've got stars that look like dream catchers.
Yes.
Crocheted dream catchers there.
Crochet dream catchers.
You've got a big C for Charlie. That's not to be sniffed at. And what are the other things? Are they like earrings? Am I seeing?
Yes, I've got jewellery. Everything's made by me. So I do handmade earrings, necklaces.
Wow.
Wish bracelets. The pictures in the frames everyth's all personalised and made to order. With or without lights.
So you've got like bracelets as well. Bracelets, are some of them necklaces as well, or what?
Yeah, necklaces. You
Wow.
name it, I'll try it.
No, it's fantastic. What a range you've got, though. I mean, so are you just sitting making these all day and building up a stock of them?
Yeah, that's how I'm going to be doing it. I've got some new pictures will be launched this week as well.
Right.
So there's going to be the options to have a crocheted guitar or music note in the picture.
Right.
With song lyrics put on in beads.
Right. Oh, that's cool. So the bottom line is, if you've got a favourite album or a favourite adage that you live your life by, a funky phrase, you can do that for them and stick it in a frame, or you could put something of their choice in a dream catcher, which I think is a very cool idea, because you got stars in them now. They look really good.
Yeah, I've got a few different designs of the dream catchers as well, which are all on my online shop.
Right. So if people want to find it, it's Annesley Gifts, but that is Anne, Annesley.
Yeah.
Annesley Gifts. And that's is it on Facebook or where is it?
It's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
There you go. So no escape. Check out her gifts and see if there's anything there you fancy.
Yeah, because there's an online shop, so the link to the online shop is on all of those pages as well. And I think Tony might be sharing that as well.
He is. mademe.co.uk/shop/Annesley Gifts / That is the online shop if you want to make absolute sure. It's on the screen for those of you watching. For those listening, you got to have a really good memory. There you go. So,
and the name came about from my maiden name. It's
right.
like a little tribute to my dad.
Right. Oh, that's nice.
And that's where the purple comes in as well. It was his favourite colour.
Right. No, it's all good. Anyway, it's just good to know that you've started something new. How's the family? Is everybody okay?
Yeah, we're all good. We've had a bit of a topsy-turvy time.
Hey, who hasn't, man?
Lockdown.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we're all keeping well.
That's
Charlotte's getting ready to move out again.
Right. How was the whole college experience?
She got a 2-1 for her first year.
Oh, brilliant.
So that's incredible.
She's not messing about.
Super proud of her for that.
For sure.
And she's about to move into shared accommodation next month.
It's a change in life that you've got to go through.
Yeah, but she's already told me that she's only doing it for a year for the experience, and then she's going to move back home till she's at least 26.
Well, we'll wait and see. You never know what life has in store. That's the thing.
No, but I think I'll make the most of that year.
I think so too. Hey, but great to hear from you, Donnie. Thanks for coming back on.
And you.
Look forward to seeing you soon.
To do so, I shall definitely pop in if not work.
Great. I'd love to see you. Thanks again, Don. Take care. Right, bye-bye. She was lovely. She was a great night out girl for us. Did us proud. Anyway, let us crack on and talk of many things. Don't forget there's a second clue coming up round about the midnight hour. But we got plenty to talk about meanwhile, including Chris with a K and 2 S's. Not messing about. And he's in Peterlee. Hi, Chris.
All right, Alan.
Good man. What you got for me?
I was just wanting to talk about 3 things tonight.
Okay. Yeah.
First thing is astral projection.
Go for it. What's your thoughts on all of this then?
You were talking about this earlier, and you seem to be pretty convinced that it's a real thing.
Well, it's just, it felt real when I was, I've took the mickey out of people for astral travelling and telling me what they can do. But the little thing that happened to me did seem incredibly real, but could have been a vivid dream. I don't doubt.
Right, so I've looked into this astral projection stuff before, and there's a test where some scientists got someone to go to sleep on a hospital bed,
right,
type of thing, in an experimental room.
Right.
And what they did is they drew on top of a shelf, which was high up on the room, a number, and they told the man to go into his astral projection state, rise up in the room and read that number, and then when he wakes up, tell him that number. And he couldn't do it.
Right.
I mean, that is the test, as far as I know, that works for astral projection.
Well, that's kind of similar to what I suggested. If you can, because some people would ring up and they'd say, "Oh, I've astrally travelled for 15 years. I've been to China. I've been to Rome. I've been to here. I've been to there." And I thought, well, if you can travel, at will to wherever you want to go, because let's face it, that's kind of like Star Trek, where you just go bloop and suddenly you're there. I mean, if you can really do that, how amazing. So how do you test them? Well, just come down the road, tell me what's written on the wall. If you can travel through buildings. And nobody could. So that made me instantly think, well, it can't possibly be true. And then after telling people that on the radio for about 25 years, all of a sudden one night I'm staring at myself in bed from me ceiling, and you're thinking, what the hell's going on here? And I dream, and I've always been a bit of a dreamer at night time, but that had never happened before. What was it? Was it astral projection, or was it me dreaming because people had talked about astral projection? I don't know. Don't know the answer.
I think there's more to it than when you say astral projection, I think people think, oh, right, somebody's saying that they're leaving the body when they're lying down. I don't think it's like that. You can't just put a label on it because we don't understand it.
Yeah, well, I absolutely agree with you, 100%. But that is what it's called, and that's what people choose to believe that they can do. Hey, if somebody could, now, if you think about this from a financial view, and to me, money absolutely talks. If you could do that, if that was your gift, power, ability, whatever you want to call it, whether you call it astral projection or whether you can send your soul places, if you could do that, you could make any amount of money because you could find out secrets of famous people and sell them. You could do all kinds of things that are not particularly legal, but you could make a lot of money. You could find, what the number is to get into buildings, banks. You could do all this kind of stuff, and nobody has. So therefore, you think, well, maybe there isn't as much in it as we think, and maybe it is just people dreaming about people who've talked about this kind of thing before. Hey, I don't know, but it did feel very, very real while I was up there. And the thing that I couldn't explain, how did I know that my jacket was on the floor when I'd hung it on the chair the night before, and I saw it on the floor from above, and when I went into the room the next day, it was on the floor? Or is that just a spooky coincidence? Hey,
probably just a spooky coincidence.
Maybe so. Absolutely, maybe so. I've got no... it's never happened since, so you put it down as maybe it was just a dream. But on saying that, I did feel at the time, I woke up frightened. Why was I frightened? Because this thing had happened, and I'd been hanging up there, and I'm looking down, and who knows? Hey, there's weird stuff out there. What's the other two things you wanted to talk about then, Chris?
The next one is the coronavirus.
Okay, where do you stand on that then?
Oh, man. I'll probably get kicked off for the channel for this, but...
Go for it.
It's an absolute scam.
Scam?
Scam.
What is it a scam, and what's it achieving? What's it doing then if it's a scam, if it's not true?
Have you heard of the New World Order?
I have indeed.
Well, there it is. It's right in front of our faces.
David Icke's spoken about it a lot, and he wrote a book about the only way to achieve full control of your people is to tell them there's a pandemic.
Exactly.
And that was in 2008.
I try and avoid him. I do. I try and avoid David Icke as a conspiracy theorist.
Right.
Because he hits the nail on the head every time, as far as I can see.
Well, you can't deny that he wrote a book. He wrote a book about it.
I like the pursuit of finding out what I think, my own information and what I think.
Right.
When I watch David Icke stuff, he just knows it all straight away. And when I do research the stuff, the conspiracy theory, whatever they're saying, and he is right every time. Well,
so, okay, let's say, just for sake of argument, and forget David Icke, and okay, because he's way over there. And they've even tried to close him down. They've tried to take his stuff off the radio, and off Google, and all of this kind of stuff.
He's gone.
He's gone, is it?
Search for David Icke and he won't find anything.
Well, I saw. I saw the original one when it came out. The second one I didn't see, but the first one was hard hitting and powerful, and kind of made sense. He's out there though. Leave him there. Let's say that this is all about money, people, because the richest people in the world during the pandemic have all made fortunes. They've doubled and trebled the amount of money that they have. So
let's cut to the chase, Alan. Let's just cut to the chase. Bill Gates.
Right.
What do you reckon? Bill Gates. So all the conspiracy theorists. There was 4 million people dissing Bill Gates on YouTube after David Icke brought his stuff out on YouTube, and it got banned later. But there was 4 million people dissing Bill Gates.
Yeah, but you see, did that hurt Bill Gates?
I don't know, but what do you think about it? Do you think Bill Gates is the man behind the coronavirus?
Right. First of all, innocent until proven guilty for everybody, because everybody gets that kind of coverage. However, on seeing that, on one of the shows that I did a few years ago, I talked to somebody who admitted to being, now this was a real high visible personality, incredibly wealthy, and he said he was a member of the Illuminati. He was a member of the World Order, and he said, well, what are you? He wouldn't. We had to hide his voice on air, and we really had to twist and.
All right, so
we
this is real.
we really
I thought
had
you were joking at first.
No, we really had to twist his voice because he didn't want to be identified, and he's instantly recognizable. And I said, well, okay, just what is it all about? And they explained how they were completely against the church and that the church had been lying to people for all of these years, and intelligent people want to rise up and distance themselves from all kind of religion. And eventually when religion gets to harm people right across the world, ordinary people will rise up and say, no, we want to follow you. We don't want to do that anymore. And that will be the moment when they come into their own and they'll take power and they'll make money because there will be no currency and everybody will have to use cards, which means the rich get richer automatically because they're getting a slice of everything that anybody ever buys. And now this was 6 years before the coronavirus. And yet, even then, they were saying, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take control. How do we take control? You've got to win over the minds of the people. And the way that it's argued that they did that was to scare the pants off them over this terrifying thing that nobody's really seen but have just been told about, because it's a virus, it's a thing. And people die, and then they say, that was the virus. And we can't deny it. We can't prove it one way or another. But people have died in similar numbers just of cold and flu and whatever virus comes up each year around about Christmas. So it's I can see both sides of this coin. And it's scary whichever way you look. The bottom line is, if this order is as powerful as it claims to be and is in control of the World Health Organization, is what many people claim, if it's in charge of these incredible multi-billion pound multi-billion pound organizations, why don't they just come out and say, the way the world's being governed now is pants? And most people don't rate the government that's in charge of them. Some of them want revolution and all of that. If this other thing came out and said, hey, we have the power, we have the money to change the world, follow us, vote us in, and we'll do it, do you think we would? Or would we be too frightened to leave the status quo?
That's a really good question, Alan, that, actually. Because most of the people I've told about the way I see COVID, like my friends and family have said, well, I just want to enjoy my life. I don't really care. You know, I just want to enjoy, as long as I've got to enjoy my life. And I says, yeah, well, that was fine until they came out and said they were going to start sticking us with vaccines, which were not proven.
And vaccines that we don't know what the hell's in it.
And then they're going to start making us all wear masks.
Yeah, but you see, when they say to you, as long as we're happy and we can live our life, we were doing that. Now we have to be told which side of the street to walk on, which side of a supermarket to walk on, where you can go, what you can see, whether you can go to a cinema, whether you can go to a football ground, whether you go to rugby, cricket, tennis, and so it go. You can't go and see your favourite band in your local bar. They're telling you, wipe your nose, wipe your backside, use 2 sheets of paper. They have us in a place now where we have to do what they tell us. Otherwise, we're looked down on by everybody else. It's a very clever technique, if it's just a technique. If it's the coronavirus and they're merely doing their damnedest to keep us safe, well, that's the other version.
Yeah.
And you've got to choose which one you go for.
I've been looking into all this kind of stuff, and it is a mind war. They're using it's very primitive CIA, what do you call it, Russian mind control technology. If you want to know about it, watch the film called The Manchurian Candidate.
I've seen it. Denzel did the modern version. But you said you was three things, and we could
all
talk about this all night. I get it, but
Connect Four. When you watch a film like that, it's like Connect Four. Everything drops.
Right.
Everything
Okay.
drops in every place.
What's your last? You said three things. You've done two. Aliens. Go for it.
Have you seen the Pentagon? NASA's come out and said, "All right, there's aliens out there." And no, wait, they haven't said that. They've said we've seen UFO crafts that definitely are not made on Earth.
Right.
And we can confirm that. I suppose. Did they say that? Did you see it or not?
They kind of said that. They said that we don't believe it came from Earth. These things came from Earth. We've been saying this on the show for the longest time because there's proof that stuff happened. It's like there's a thing that I'm going to be talking about on a podcast in a couple of weeks. They found something that's 3,000 years BC, so 5,000 years ago, that was built, and it was so tall it was impossible for humans to have done it. So how did it get there? It had a whole 50 meters long, the internal hall, and some of the buildings were 300 feet high. And you think, well, first of all, it's too big. Or were the people then bigger or that big? Who knows? So there's a lot of things. We've done the Alien Jesus series that tells of we travel the world looking for alien-related things that can't be proven. And there's an incredible number of them, more than you ever thought. Well, you've probably looked into it, so you'll know how much is out there, I'm sure.
Well, honestly, mate, thank you for going out and actually, spending time doing that stuff, because it's
fascinating,
really important to people.
Well,
we get the best information from people like you.
Well, bless you.
I don't believe the governments or anything when it comes to things like that.
Right from the beginning, I got in trouble on here by saying, I don't believe it. Have I seen anything that's made me believe it?
Yeah, you do get into trouble for telling the truth these days, don't you?
Well, it's my truth. It doesn't have to be anybody who's listening's truth. Yeah. You let them believe it. It's just when people die and people say that's why they died, and then 3 weeks later the hospital say, no, they had septicemia, they had hypothermia, they had pneumonia, but they're labelling everything as COVID. And
that's the first thing that like made my hair go spiky when all this happened. At first, I was showing people NHS 101 online and directing to the gov.uk website because I'm very digital.
Right.
And after it was only a few days, I realised it was all a load of bollocks.
Right.
Hey. They were putting COVID on everyone's death certificates.
Mm-hmm.
And I do deal with certificates like birth certificates and in my job, but when I seen that, I was like, nah, that's not right. That's definitely not right. And I looked into it even more, and when I seen what the tests were, a load of bollocks and all.
Right.
And that's even been reported.
You're entitled to your view, Chris. There'll be many people agreeing, and there'll be an awful lot probably swearing at the wireless right now.
That's what I said the other day. I can show you one video that says the coronavirus is a scam, and you can show me one video that says it's not.
Right. That's the way that it is out there. Thank you for coming on, Chris. Appreciate it.
It's a two-way thing. But let's just crack on and just keep happy.
Don't have a choice, man.
Keep happy.
Keep ahead. Thanks a lot, Chris. We must move on. And why not move on with a superstar? I was talking to Brian May.
I would imagine right the way through the whole Queen thing that people were coming up saying, I'd like you to do a little bit of this, I'd like you to do a little bit of that. I can even remember you, if memory serves, on a Lonnie Donegan album.
Yes, that's right. But that was one of the very few things that I found the time to do. I think one of the things of, one of the ways of accepting what happened with Freddie was I got as busy as I could. And the Queen thing did gradually kind of run down. It had to, there was no way we could be Queen without Freddie. And the benefit of it has been that I can now say yes to people if they do ask me to do things.
Right.
This is Night Owls on Greatest Hits Radio.
You never know who's going to call next.
0191 488 3188.
Greatest Hits Radio.
Alan Robson with you. Thanks for joining us. Wherever you happen to be upon planet Earth, make sure you do tell. And maybe give us a call. We'd love that. Now, second clue. I'm going to give you some words, and there's actually two phrases, two words, and then two phrases to put together that all appear in this song. Massive hit. You got to tell me what greatest hit it happened to be. The first clue is this. These four Marvel superheroes are known as the Something Four. The Something Four. To keep it greatest hitsy, Elton John once called himself Captain This on one of his albums. Okay? Same word. Second clue. Giving flowers or chocolates to someone is thought to be very what? Yes, it's very nice, it's very good, but it's very something else to do with the heart. Giving flowers or chocolates is thought to be very what? Two clues down, you've got your two words, you're going to get two phrases. When you hear the second phrase, then you can get to those telephones and give us a call. Let us move on to Danielle, who's in Newcastle upon Tyne, talking about, I think, dreams and our astral travel again. Hi, Danielle.
Hi.
Hello, darling. What's your view on it then? Has it happened to you?
Well, basically, it didn't happen to me, but then when I started losing people, it seemed to happen a lot more.
Explain.
Well, basically, my dad died when I was 11.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And then, like, ghosty things, like weird things started happening.
Like what? Do tell.
So, can you remember, like, in the 90s when you had the mirrors and you had those butterflies on? Remember the sticky butterflies you put on the mirrors?
You did.
Everyone had
Yes.
them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I had those in the house and he died, and I was in the sitting room by myself. I'll never forget it. It must have been like the day after he died or something. And they dropped off the mirror.
Well, they didn't drop off. They didn't drop off anything because they were there. Once they were on, they were there to stay, weren't they? Those things.
Yeah. Well, they did drop off.
Right.
But that was just one thing. And then, like, about 2 years later, my granddad died, and I was in my grandma's house. The same butterfly on the same mirrors. He just died, and they dropped off.
Wow. Right.
And I got scared. I went upstairs in my bedroom and shut the door because I didn't understand it at the time, like what was going on. But like, obviously, it's very coincidental. And then it was when I started going to sleep. Then I started like having dreams of, I don't know. It was like one night I was asleep in my bedroom and I was awake and somebody pulled the quilt from over my head.
Right.
But I can remember it, and I remember getting my quilt, pulling it back over my head because I was scared.
Right.
And I woke up the next morning like absolutely sweating because it had happened.
Right.
Just, like,
Could that
weird
not have
things.
been a vivid dream? You just felt that it happened, and then you wake up and it's over your head again. You go, "Ooh, I must have pulled that back
no,
over."
because I know that I was awake.
Right.
Because I pulled it back over my head, and I remember sweating, thinking, "I don't want to look out. I don't want to look out of this quilt."
Right.
But now looking back, it could have just been someone checking on me.
This is the thing. You never know. And imagination's an amazing thing. But on saying that, if it wasn't, because you see, when it comes to ghosts, you only need one to be true out of the millions that's out there for it to be real. So who knows? But I mean, if the family were sending you a message, you know, your dad and your granddad sending you the same message, because that really is. How coincidental could it be that the same phenomenon happens when two members of your family die? I mean, that's cool. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, and then my grandma died like not so long ago, but I was in New York at the time.
Right.
Living there, and basically she was fine 2 days before.
Right.
And I got a phone call saying, "Danielle, your grandma's in the hospital." I was like, "Well, what do you mean? I've just been speaking to her on the phone."
Yeah.
And basically she got rushed in, whatever. So I flew back from New York. She was in intensive care. Then she died, but I've lived in her house since I was she was like my second mum basically. And I had the key, walked back in the house, and I'll never forget the smell at the hospital. It was like because obviously she was like incontinent at the time, so that smell. I walked back in the house and I was like, "Has a dog like pooed?" And honestly, I walked in and I was sniffing under the table, thinking, "What does that smell?
Where is it?" Yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't there. It was like she'd walked back in the house with me, and that smell was so strong, but only for about 30 seconds.
And that smell was exactly the smell the last time that you
at the hospital.
should be in there.
And I drove home. Everything wasn't there. It was literally when I opened the door, it was like that smell had come in with me.
Isn't that weird?
Lots of weird things.
But you see, we talk about one of the signs of spirit is smelling stuff, and we've been in buildings that nobody's lived there for 200 years, old castles and stately homes, and you get in there and there's a smell of perfume and you think, well, that's not possible. Or cigar smoke, some people say, it's cigar smoke, a pipe smoke, and that kind of thing. So smell is a big pointer towards this kind of thing, but especially if it instantly reminds you of the person that you'd last had that smell attached to. If it's not a pleasant one to say, "Oh, she's brought diarrhea from the grave." That's not what you want to hear. But
I was like, "Has the dog too?"
Right. Yeah, it's when you see these people they're usually on ghost shows, and you see there's 5 of them round a table. I can smell. We've never had a diarrhea one yet, but I suppose it's only a matter of time. Funny.
Yeah.
Anything else then?
No, and then basically, so now I've been having dreams about her.
Right.
But she's never ever talks to me. It's like it's always silent. Like she's trying to tell me something.
Right.
And I'm like, but I've seen you dead. And she's like, but no, I'm okay now. But I can't hear her saying that.
But you're feeling it.
Well, it's almost like telepathic almost. But I know that sounds weird.
Well, you see, it is weird, but then put that in the context historically, which is difficult to do when you're thinking, I'm obviously going mad here. But if you think about it, Aborigines, Maoris, shaman from all over the world, including Eastern Europe and South America, Native American Indians, all of these people believe that the only way that a ghost can contact a human being is through dreams. They don't think that. They absolutely believe it 100%.
Yeah.
So if you put it in the context of that, because add up all of those people from around the world, we're talking millions of people who absolutely believe that the only way they can get a message through. Now, some people believe that they can hear them talking in their heads. Other people just know the message, and you, it seems, know the message. I'm all right now. You don't have to worry about me. You don't have to panic. And hopefully that smell of diarrhea will go sometime soon. But it's a cool thing. And you can believe it or you don't believe it. It's the same as a lot of this stuff. It's down to you. You've got the choice. Do you believe it?
Well, that's the thing. I love Neil deGrasse Tyson. I love the science point of everything.
Right.
But then it has happened to me, and then I was that desperate at the time. I went to a spiritualist.
Right. Right.
And the first thing she said when I walked in the room is, "I've got a dot in a Doreen." Well, the dot was my grandma's mum, which I'd never met, and the Doreen was my grandma. And it was like you couldn't pick those two names out of the thin air.
Right.
You couldn't do that.
Right. Well, there you go.
I mean, nobody knows that my grandma's mum was called Dot.
Yeah, how is that likely?
Yeah.
Because I don't know the name of my grandma's parents.
Mm-hmm.
So who does? I mean, how many people do?
And then a spiritualist, and then she went, she says, "Oh, it's the end house. You're all going to eventually buy it," which now I have. I bought it. And she said that, you're going to live in it. You're going to be comfortable. You don't have to get rid of everything, because obviously it was very old-fashioned. But you can keep some things. And it was just, I walked out of feeling like, wow, you couldn't make that up, even if you practiced it.
Because a lot of people think that a lot of the folk that do that, spiritualists, aren't real or whatever, and yet this one hit 100% for you. So
2 names on the head. Yeah, and I didn't even get in contact with it. It was my neighbour whose husband had just died, said, Danielle, I'm going to a spiritualist, would you like to come along? And I said, yes.
And you got the message instead of them?
Yeah. She didn't know who I was. Nothing.
Amazing.
And then the dog, Poppy, our dog had just died, and then the last thing she went, she wanted to know she's got a little Yorkshire Terrier with her. He's coming through as well. And it's like, she even got the dog coming through.
It was the same type of dog, right type of dog. A Yorkie.
A little Yorkshire Terrier coming through, yeah.
Oh, how about that?
It was like, you didn't say the name of the dog, like, but still, you couldn't get that.
You couldn't. Hey, good stuff. Danielle, thank you very much for coming on. Appreciate your call. Thanks for ringing in.
Okay, thank you. Take care.
And you, babe. Bye-bye. 0191 488 3188. Getting a lot more on astral travel than we thought we would. And now, here we go. Anne is entering the Corona conspiracy theory phase. Welcome back. Were you last week? Welcome back. Were you last week looking for work? I hope you've got a note from your mum, not forged by you either. And seriously, I agree with Chris. This whole thing is a ploy to control people. Maybe it is an illness like flu, but we didn't lock down even when we had the Spanish flu that killed millions. Something just doesn't sit quite right. None of my friends, no family, knows anybody who has died with COVID. And a lot of my friends are old like me. But I know a few people who have mental problems and people who are genuinely scared to death. I know it's just my opinion and no one agrees with me. Nice to hear somebody else on the radio with a similar opinion. We might never find out the truth, which is also true, that we'll never find out the truth. Because why should they tell us if it's their game and they're toying with us? Now, it may well be that what they're telling you is all completely true. Like the NHS, we're going to get all that money that was on the side of the bus, remember? They swore that was true too. We believed them. Should we believe this? It's up to you. It's absolutely up to you. It's your decision. I'm not going to try and I'll give the other side, but I gave the other side too. If you believe the government are merely trying to do the best they can to control a nasty thing that's been thrust upon the world, that's fine. Believe it. We all have to do what they tell us anyway. But is it true? Or is there just a little worm in your head saying, oh, hang on, that doesn't sound kosher? Let's crack on. Oh, my goodness, I don't believe it. We have another night owl girl stacking up to come on. It's after we've heard from Sue, who's in Washington. Hi, Sue.
Hi, Alan.
Hello, darling.
I've got withdrawal symptoms, you know.
Oh, bless. Well, it's good to have you back. What are you talking about tonight then, Sue?
Right, well, there's 3 things. I'll be as quick as I can right
Okay.
now. You was on about toys the other week.
Yes.
Well, the toys that I had years ago was mostly my imagination.
Explain.
Well, I'd run around the lawn with a stick, pretending I was on a horse.
Right.
We'd pull Mum's flowers apart and mix them up with water and make potions. Just the imagination.
Right.
And then things were made for us. We had wooden stilts made for us. But nowadays, kids haven't got, they don't have to use their imagination because it's in front of them.
Yeah.
On a
computer
video
screen.
game.
No,
Yeah.
I get that because I remember, and this, to try and tell somebody who plays highly sophisticated video games, which I think, it's a gift, and you either can or you can't, but they're doing all these high-tech things, and they're pressing lots of buttons, and they're blowing stuff up, and they're pretending to be a character in this incredible thing. And yet, I remember when I was the same age, on a coffee table, fighting World War II with toy soldiers. You know, you had
little soldiers,
there's your Germans, there's your English, the Russians. Whose side are they on? Oh, they're on our side. That's good. Oh, hang on, here's the Japanese. You know, and you would do the words, and one would chuck a grenade, and it would blow up.
Yeah.
Get battle, get down, men. You know, you'd be doing all the voices, but you'd play with those soldiers for 2 and 3 hours. And even to this day, I'm not sure how we were able to do that, but we did.
Yeah, because we used our imagination. That's why.
There you go.
But and you was on about your favourite toy. Well, I've told you about Florence, haven't I, before?
Yes, yeah.
I went and had a look at her the other day in both arms of her.
Well, you're not looking after your favourite toy very well.
No, I wish if there's anyone out there who could restore her, that would be brilliant, you know.
Because there are places around the world, and certainly in America, they've got like toy hospitals, you know, where you can take a doll and they'll put a head back on or an arm, or there's an arm missing. Well, fortunately, we've got 300 arms in the back. You know, so why don't we have toy hospitals? I've never heard of one here in the north.
No, I know they've got a program on, haven't they, where it's called the Repair Shop.
Right.
But I think if I was able to take her there, I'd just be handing a box full of dust.
Yeah, a bit of cloth and some sawdust, and good luck with that. But a toy hospital would fix. Would, you know, if you told them this is what she looked like, they would be able to do that, I'm sure.
Aye. The other thing you was on about pets and well, my Ebony, she's really, really clever. I mean, if we could have got her into drug sniffing, she would have made us a mint of money.
Right.
Because we can take her out on a walk, and she'll be like slightly in front of you on a lead, and all of a sudden she'll just dive into bushes, and she's like, you can see a tail wagging, and she'll come out with a ball.
Right. Okay.
Honest, and I don't know how she does it, whether she can smell them or like see them, but honestly, her toy box downstairs, we counted them the other day. She's got about 70 balls in this box, and about 60 of them she's found while she's out.
So people are going to watch out in case your Ebony sniffs their balls. Then. And she's good at. We do a trick with her, and we've got a little reception bell. Right.
And she presses the bell for a treat.
Oh, that's really cool. Funny. No, that is clever. Mind you, I'm surprised you haven't got tinnitus the amount of time she must be clanging on the bell.
Aye.
Right.
But I sent last week, the last thing is last week I sent an email. I don't know if you've seen it.
I haven't.
Oh,
Chris probably has. What was it about?
It's an award. It's a medal that my granddad got years ago.
Right.
For it's something, the heroism. I can't remember the words on it.
What did he do? What did he do?
Well, he used to work on a farm, like doing the gardens and that on the farm.
Right.
And there was a labourer there, and one of some bulls got out, or as my mum calls them, I laugh when she said, the bullocks got out.
Right.
So the bulls got out, and one of them just literally went for this man and trampled him, knocked him to the ground, trampled him, and my granddad got him away, but the bull just came back again, and there was, he tried his best to save him, but he just couldn't save him. The bull trampled him to death.
Oh, wow.
So he got this medal, and my mum's got the certificate and everything.
Right.
In a frame, and but honestly, it's just an act of heroism. And she said in the local pub, they put on a little spread for him, and and give him the award and everything. It's really mint.
That's an amazing thing to keep a memory of. No, it's good.
Yeah,
stuff.
Definitely.
Great. Hey, well, Sue, glad to have you back, darling. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, Alan, can you do a quick shout out to Auntie Jenny? She's going to be listening tonight. She's all alone at the minute because Uncle Arthur's in hospital.
Oh, is he all right?
He's had an operation on his knee.
Right,
so,
he'll be
but
all
she's
right.
feeling really lonely, bless her.
So, Andy, Jenny, keep a hard lass. He'll be back soon, don't you worry.
Yeah. All right,
Thanks
you,
for
Alan.
coming on. Bye-bye. Even if he is a bit limp. There you go. Sue from Washington. Sniffing bulls and a load of bullocks. And next, we mentioned that we had another... It's just one of them nights, isn't it? We had a night owl girl, Dawn, on before, and we've got another night owl girl from long, long, long ago. It's Sabrina, who's in Blythe. Hi, Sabrina. Let's try pressing the button again and trying to actually talk to her. Hi, Sabrina. Hello. Earth to Sabrina. No. There she was. Gone. That's the thing. Now, we've got some rough cuts coming. Hopefully, we'll get in touch with Sabrina a little bit later on. And instead, let's talk to a superstar. Now, we get them all in, as you know. One of them we've spoken to 2 or 3 times. So we were able to ask some of the questions that normally you wouldn't ask an attractive woman of a certain age. Lisa Stansfield, we're going to be talking to soon, but I think Sabrina is back. Let's quickly dash across there. Hi, Sabrina.
Hello, how are you?
I'm all right. Hey, good to talk to you.
You too. Long time no squeeze.
And no, where have you been? What have you done? Tell us everything.
Oh, I'm a nurse now. I followed in Sandra's path.
Really? Unbelievable. Wow. Well, congratulations and good on you.
Been missing the show.
Right. So, where have you been? I mean, geographically.
Geographically, still in the northeast.
Right.
The northeast, beautiful coast.
Absolutely. So you're in Blythe at the moment, and you're working in nursing. That's a million miles away from what you used to do.
Well, yeah. I mean, the whole theatre stuff that you and I were introduced in, it just
absolutely
kind of took a bit of a nosedive, and I decided to take a gamble on the nursing side of things, and I'm now a nurse practitioner.
Different skills. No, it's great.
Yeah, and I work in one of the top end, leafy, suburban, affluent areas of Newcastle.
Sure. Right. No, it's really good. So you took to it like a duck, because I mean, previously it was always lighting and sound and all that kind of thing that was your forte. And yeah, this is cool. Hey, I'm glad to hear that you're doing well. It's always good news.
It's good to see you too.
Right, thank you.
Although you've lost a bit of the top of the hair.
Oh no! Don't say that. It's just moving around the back. That's all.
Yeah,
just keeps going further and further back, but that's normal.
Yeah.
Hey, good stuff. Well, great to hear from you. Thank you for coming on. You wanted to talk about one of the adventures you went on when you were with the team.
Yeah, so obviously millions of moons ago, when we used to do the Halloween specials.
Yeah.
And you sent me to Beamish Hall.
Yes,
that's right. It was not quite open at the time.
Yeah, it was a ruin, essentially, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
It was
and there was pretty much a sort of a Nightmare on Elm Street bunker in the basement. There was the haunted bridal suite.
Yeah.
Which I got some fantastic photos, which should still be available on the Night Owl's website if it's still running.
It is.
Yeah. It was for a spiritualist, such as myself.
Yeah.
It was an enlightening night. It was amazing. I just wish I could have been part of the party that was going on downstairs.
I know it's good. It's great when we can get the chance to do cool things in cool places. That's
it was amazing.
Always been the way, hasn't it? Always been the way. Hey, well, lovely to hear from you, Sabrina. Great to catch up. Thank you for coming on. Stay well, and hopefully I'll meet you, but not necessarily in a hospital bed.
Yeah, well, I work in community, so you'll be fine.
Oh, that's great. Thanks again, Sabs. All the
care.
best. Take it easy. Bye-bye. Hey, how good is that? We're getting Night Owl girls coming out of the darkness. Always good to see. So we mentioned Lisa Stansfield. Now, what can you not talk about with beautiful women, and particularly beautiful women of a certain age? Well, it's about their bodies usually, because they're usually a bit careful. But that's where we went.
What's the worst thing that's ever happened to it? Accidents, operations?
Oh,
and
my body.
howling pain. Let me talk about your bod.
Yeah, I think there is everyone likes to talk about this story about me. And it was quite horrendous, actually.
Yeah?
I developed an allergy to my own saliva.
Whoa.
And I got loads of mouth ulcers, so they were like everywhere in my mouth, on my gums, in my under my tongue, on my tongue, everywhere.
That would hurt.
So I literally couldn't eat anything. So it was vile. I sort of became like a bit of a walking skeleton because I couldn't eat anything.
So have you found an answer to it then? You found a way to
Oh yeah, and it took me a year. Well, it didn't take me a year. It took doctors a year to find out what it was, and basically it's very, very easy to cure.
Wow.
And you just you just gargle with steroids.
Right.
And
this is not, these steroids not going to give you a moustache or anything, are they? These things.
No, I did grow like balls and stuff like that. No, because I only gargled them. I didn't swallow them. I don't know where my baby is.
Classic, eh?
Somewhere, somehow.
Hello, everybody. This is going to be the end of the stream bit, but we got another hour and a half of the show to go, and it's at least going to be as good as what we've had before. That's just the way that it is. Check out the podcast if you can. Don't forget, this week's we're doing like a torture top 15 or so. We're also talking about Daniel Boone, which sounds benign, but it's actually quite a groovy little story. Also, try and go on to robsonsworld.com if you can. It would just help us out at a time when we're only doing one a week, and that's frankly not enough. So help us out if you can. Other than that, tune your radio in. Wherever you are on earth, you can still listen. It is Greatest Hits Radio Northeast that you're looking for. Tell Alexa to find it, and she will. And we're on till 2. And you see if you can work out this competition that we're running as well for a mug with a crack in it. Although we'll probably send you a fresh one. All right? That's the deal. Anyway, thanks for being with us. Really appreciate it. And hopefully we'll catch you soon. Alan Robson, out. Respect. Take care of yourself until next time.